Welcome to this week's Kaleido website review. My name is Bill Rice. I'm one of the team members here at Kaleido, and we are a digital agency that focuses primarily on clients that are looking to generate leads with their website. And so each and every week we do a quick website review. As you see on the screen here, I use a pretty methodical checklist as I review new client websites and look for opportunities to improve not only the performance and the aesthetic of the site, but also, most importantly, to actually get the site into a position to generate leads. I really work in three different sort of large categories. I'm looking at the platform itself, the technical performance, and the technology stack that it's on, make sure that that's sort of best practices and optimal to give the best user experience, which is terribly critical to lead conversion once you get them on the site. I'm also looking at sort of how and where site visitors come from and the initial experience they're going to get, and looking for clarity and making sure that that process is very easy for them to kind of move through and get exactly what they need. And then ultimately that conversion element. So the types of not only mechanisms to allow the user to actually reach out and engage with you or ask you a question or actually make an inquiry about your services or your products, but also to kind of play into the psychology of moving that visitor forward and engaging with you as a company. So this is the list that I'm kind of going to go through. This week I've picked out Group 10 Management. This is basically a hospitality, commercial property management. We were looking at somebody kind of in the commercial real estate, and we grabbed this particular website out. And so first thing that I always look at is I try to figure out what is this actually built on, because that's going to help me understand if the organization is actually positioned themselves to understand how the website's contributing to their business. So the first thing that I'm always looking for is Google Analytics. So it looks like they at least have the capability to monitor what's happening on their website. That's strong. I see things like Contact Form 7, which we don't recommend for a lot of different reasons. We tend to lean towards Gravity Forms because it gives us a lot more flexibility to gather in and do some dynamic things and build kind of more robust forms. But Contact Form 7 is fully acceptable. A lot of people use it. But the one thing it does tell me is that this is on WordPress because that's a WordPress plugin. Looking through Google Tag Manager, again, that means, again, somebody's sophisticated enough to be actually managing a lot of their tracking mechanisms through that Tag Manager, so that's strong. And then we'll just kind of take a look through here. Look at the hosting provider. This is on GoDaddy. Again, not our strongest recommendation. A lot of these very affordable hosting solutions, like a GoDaddy or Bluehost or something like that, has a great price, but you are literally just sort of layered up on a server with a whole bunch of other websites. And in those times that you are, as I always call it, with good neighbors, that's an okay thing because everybody's sort of behaving, and you don't have to kind of worry about denial of services or somebody getting hacked on your server and actually taking down the performance of the server. But most likely somewhere along the line, there's going to be a problem with that. Plus, kind of the service level on some of these, bottom dollar sort of hosting providers is just not to a level that most businesses can tolerate. If you go down, you could be down for several days. So not a horrible hosting solution, but depending on the services that you're doing, probably not the best hosting solution. It's just kind of an easy one. So we always recommend WP Engine because it's a WordPress optimized hosting solution. Excellent support, not very expensive actually, and it's always up, and they're always there to help you if you do run into any problems, even problems of your own making. You install a bad plugin, bad theme, or something like that, that will help you. Great backups and that sort of thing. So the main thing that I'm getting from here is I'm looking at the hosting provider because you need rock solid hosting in order to get performance out of your website. You don't want to be sharing that server with anybody or too many people. And of course, you're looking in here to see what it's actually built on, what the content management system is. In this case, it's WordPress, which we love, very flexible. You can do all kinds of incredible design stuff. So now let's kind of go into the visitor portion of this. And for that, I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to go into SEMrush, which is actually an SEO tool, but it'll give us some insights into the potential traffic that this particular site gets. As we're going there, one other thing that I know, and this is a huge no-no, and it's getting worse and worse, is there is not an SSL certificate here. So you see I have this alert. In the future, these browsers are going to get more aggressive with this security warning. And in fact, some browsers like Firefox and in the future Chrome will actually block this website and give you a security alert that says this website is not secure. Would you like to proceed? Of course, that's not good for a business. Most of these SSL certificates, depending on who your host are, because Google is sort of requiring it, the web browsers are requiring it, it's becoming the standard. Most of these SSL certificates are now free, so there's really no reason to not get that and install it. So I would encourage that to be done. All right, so let's go over to our dashboard and let's paste in our website. And here I'm just going to get an overview of kind of where they're getting traffic from, a sense of competitors, potential keywords that they rank for. I'm not going to do full SEO research at this level. I'm just going to get kind of a snapshot of how much traffic and how much potential is in this particular website. So we see a couple things real quickly. So there is a decent amount of organic search traffic, not a ton, but there is some search traffic, and it is growing. It looks like they probably recently have done a little bit of SEO activity, maybe in the first of the year, and they were able to sort of bump that organic traffic up to kind of a new plateau. It looks like they're growing here again. So there's something happening that's good and positive, as we would probably expect. Most of the organic keywords, which is okay, is for the brand. Most businesses get most of their traffic from referrals, but it's so important, even though they're referrals, they're coming to your website in order to get contact information and become a lead to make an inquiry. So it's terribly important to have all this web stuff right, so that referral can actually happen. If you get here or you don't come up for your actual name, even though people are giving out referrals, there's a good chance that they're not going to actually, they're not actually going to come and they're not actually going to contact you because they can't find that information. So let's look at the full report just to see if they're starting to gather any sort of industry-related terms, because we want to see that as we start to grow and give us more opportunities. It's great for all those people that know our name, but we want to start ranking for some industry terms and searches that customers will logically make, so that we can grab those people that don't know about us yet and find out that we're sort of the best provider, hopefully. We have a couple little things in here. It looks like a lot of their actual properties are coming up, which isn't horrible. Again, I don't know a lot about this business. I'm just kind of focused on the website. But there are some location terms that should certainly be leveraged. I would start to, or want to start to look for these kind of things to pop in. And you can see the position is relatively low, but that's something that could be worked on. So they're ranked 80th, so that's like the 8th page of Google, but it's leisure and hospitality management. And so I would want to start working on hospitality management terms, property management terms, and get that up into our higher traffic percentage. So right now, almost 100% of our traffic is coming from branded terms. But again, they're getting traffic. That means they're doing some things right technically on their website. And there's definitely something to build on here. So there's a lot of good strength there. Okay, so now this is what my users experience. I want to kind of talk into the actual conversion aspect of this. As I go into the website, there's the website kind of, and this is very common for businesses to sort of put a me sort of focus on it. But as a person coming in here looking for property management, looking for leisure and hospitality services, there isn't really anything here that tells me how you solve my problem. This right now is very focused on who you are and what you're trying to achieve. And then actually kind of the smallest piece is probably the strongest call to action here, or not even really call to action, but the strongest, most clear copy as to who you are and how you can help me as a potential customer. So some of this I would start to move in a different direction and sort of put this lower on the page, potentially smaller, and then up in here we've done a nice job at kind of making a big prominent call to action section, but I would put this to talk to me, the consumer, and say, we're industry leaders in hospitality and commercial property management. That's what I would put up here. Normally what I put in this top level is what we do and how we do it different or better than anyone else. And then over here, especially for this, if you're actually looking for leads and inquiries, I would make a very prominent form that asks that visitor to ask me a question, to potentially set up an appointment, and some sort of contact form right off the bat. The other thing that's really important is phone numbers. And we use a service called CallRail, so we can get attribution on the numbers. We can track the numbers and the call-ins from the website, but I would definitely get a phone number up in this area as well. You've done sort of phone number and email here. I would actually make this very prominent because some of these probably aren't as necessary as you might think. I would probably take out the home entirely. Most people are conditioned to click the icon here to go home, which would give me a little more room. I think I would lead with the portfolio and the services, and then I would have about and careers, because obviously you're recruiting, and then the contact. I would actually turn this into a contact block, and I would put my phone number, email if you like to get through emails, and potentially a link that is kind of treated in a different way, sort of like you did the phone numbers in here, but I would treat this in a different way and give myself a phone number and a contact opportunity that may or may not link off to my contact page. Then once I get down here, again, the portfolio on this group is really kind of stunning. So I would start to move some of these accolades up here. So I would say, hey, this is what we are. We're just an awesome hospitality and commercial property management team or organization, and we do this better than everyone else in this sort of way. Get a contact form up here, and then even before we go into who we are, is show our actual portfolio and our current developments. And get that as high on the page as possible. Let me give you kind of a similar website that we've done. This is in commercial real estate management, and kind of see some of this in action. Again, we sort of reduced down here the actual things in the area. They didn't actually necessarily want phone calls because this is a pretty complex sale, but we kind of got this stunning portfolio right up at the top. And then we move them down into the individual projects, and you can see we've got actually different project database or portfolio, if you would, and you kind of really get into the projects very quick. And so I think for groups like this, you're probably looking more for that. Again, these are great, showing kind of the level or the category that you serve is awesome with these logos. And then this contact us information, I would just move this up the page. It's always good to anchor with this, but I would definitely move it up on our page. And then as we move through the individual pages, this is where oftentimes the website will start to fall down, is because we are focused on, in this case, the portfolio and showing that, but then we forget the next step of asking them to inquire. And so that's exactly the situation we have here. Stunning portfolio, all kinds of reasons to contact Group 10 management, but really no way to do that efficiently. We either have to kind of notice or remember this up here, or it's not even actually on the bottom of this page. So I would lay this out slightly different so that they can quickly move through this stunning portfolio. But maybe even writing down the edge or something is the ability to contact us, or a call to action between these that says, hey, if you're interested in learning how you could become one of our clients, give us a call at this phone number. Phone numbers are really important. I think more and more people are doing things on their mobile phone exclusively. And so as a result of that, they're making more phone calls than filling out web forms, because that's a little hard to do on the phone. So definitely phone numbers on this page, and probably very specific call to action. It also kind of help break this page up a little bit and tell more of a story for each of these. I might even go and tell a little bit of a story on each of these, kind of like we did on this particular one, where we kind of actually give some project facts and some stories. So that could be an idea for this part. Let's look into our services real quick. Again, this is the best opportunity in the future from an SEO perspective to get people to land directly into these categories. And then we want to make sure not only do we tell them that we can satisfy their pain point and we can serve their needs. Testimonials, I love that. But again, no mechanism to kind of get that lead and get that contact in here. So I would want to redesign this page to make sure that we have the ability to get a contact here. And then the last is I'll look at the contact page. Again, super simple. A lot of times it doesn't need to be beyond this. The only thing that I might do in here that works really well, we've kind of tested this, is to have a couple of key contact people highlighted, and maybe a headshot so they know exactly who they're going to be talking to. Sometimes this sort of anonymous looking contact page makes people think that they could reach out this way, but probably no one will follow up with them. But if you actually put a specific person there, and maybe even a personal email or phone number, you'll get a lot more out of this page, because they're like, oh, Susie is going to actually contact me, or Rick is going to call me back because I see his face on the page, and that's who I'm reaching out to. So I would encourage things like that. And then last but not least, look at the About page. This is actually typically one of the kind of second most traveled page. So I like to focus a little bit on this. Again, this talks about our vision. On the About page, I would probably put things like leadership, again, putting a face to the business. I would put, of course, our vision, mission statements, things like that. Maybe some history to show the credibility and the stability of the business. And then the other thing, of course, I like to see here is the ability to reach out to you and become a part of who Group 10 is as a partner or a client. So hopefully that's helpful. A lot of just kind of quick hits. I think with the traffic here and what they're getting, they could easily double the number of inquiries they're getting a month. I would suspect right now this website, at the level of traffic it gets and sort of the way that it's laid out, and that the contact is a little bit hard to get to. I would suspect this website right now is more brochureware, probably doesn't produce a lot of leads, and leadership isn't thinking of it as a revenue contributor, but it has all the potential to be that. So hope you enjoyed that. If you wanted the checklist that I talked through, you can download this both on the YouTube page and in our page. So grab that checklist and do it on your own. Just run through your website and see if it's kind of meeting all of the needs to actually produce revenue and create a lead. And if it's not, we'd love to talk to you. Or on that page, you can also submit your website, and I'll do a similar review to this. And you can learn sort of what you need to do in order to produce leads, sort of guaranteed. I know if we make these changes to Group 10, that will certainly produce leads. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Reach out to us if you'd like us to do a free review. And we'll talk to you next week with another web review.